Our unit question is, how can advertisers change our behavior? So Jason, some people believe that advertising helps companies become more famous. And people tend to trust famous companies more than companies they don't know. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big, important part of advertising is branding, right? Creating a brand and creating a name that is familiar to people and is, well known and stuff like that. Because then when you feel, the more familiar you are with the product, right, the more likely you're going to choose it. It's almost like an instinctual buyer's, like customer kind of behavior.
Change our behavior. When you watch television, do you usually watch the commercials?
I really dislike commercials, so I usually mute them. I got that habit from my father. I mute the commercials, or I just don't pay attention.
Okay.
Unless it's a very interesting commercial.
Okay, so interesting commercials. What commercials are interesting for you?
Animals, beautiful women.
Why beautiful women?
I think it just attracts your attention, right?
Can you think of any television ads that come to mind?
Yes. There was one from the Super Bowl, which is American football's largest competition match of the year. And there's always very good commercials during it because there's so many people watching. And there was one for Budweiser, beer. It was this hawk. This guy was sending away into the city to get beer from people's tables, terrorizing their tables and stealing their beer. And I found that very humorous, and I remember it very well.
Well, can you explain? Can you explain what's happening with Volkswagen?
Well, Volkswagen has always branded itself, marketed itself as a very friendly, family-friendly, trustworthy, reliable company. But their most recent scandal showed that they lied about the emissions that their vehicles produced, and like very much on purpose. They scammed the system so that they could get away with selling cars that were very bad for the environment, or much beyond the allowed limit of emissions. And so that's kind of ruined their name.
Has Volkswagen, so what's happened with Volkswagen, has that changed your trustworthiness of other companies as well?
Yeah, I think it makes you doubt the claims that car companies make, right, in their advertisements.
What about other companies, like say a phone company or an electronics company?
Yeah, I think I haven't really thought about that yet, but I think if you sit down and think about it, it's likely that other companies are engaged in very similar manipulative practices that kind of can manipulate the face of the company for the purpose of branding and marketing.
Mike, some people think that advertising makes a product more familiar to us, and as a result, we are more likely to buy it. Do you agree?
Absolutely. The more you're exposed to an item or whatever they're trying to sell through advertising, you'll remember them, it'll be stuck in your mind, you'll know the specifications, you'll see the colors, it's gonna stick with you. I mean, if I asked you to recall an item that you'd never seen a commercial for, or you'd never seen in a magazine, you'd be at a loss because you wouldn't even know that it existed. Whereas if I had told you to recall something that you'd seen on TV, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know that car, I know that cell phone, I know that. So.
That's a good point. So can you think of a time where you saw an ad for something and you bought it because you were familiar with it?
Actually, probably a cell phone, the Samsung. I bought the Samsung because I'd seen so much of Samsung. I was like, oh, they must be kind of reliable. They're selling a ton of these phones. It must be pretty good. It looked good on the TV. You see them everywhere. So probably that would be the latest one.
Yeah. why do you think advertisers use celebrities in their ads?
Oh, easy, because people trust celebrities. Even though they've never met, they see them on TV shows or they see them in movies, so they instantly trust them. They're like, oh, I know that guy. I've seen him around. I've seen him for years. So then they're exposed to the item, they're exposed to the celebrity, they make the connection, and then that's it. I mean, why, if you had a person that you'd seen before 100 times and a person that you've never seen before, which one would you rather talk to? Which one would you go up to? Which one is more approachable? The person that you've seen many, many times, even if it is on screen.
So you think using a celebrity in an ad makes an ad more effective?
I would say yes.
Is advertising a good or bad thing overall? A good or bad thing?
I think it's definitely good for the companies because they're exposing the populace to their item or their inventory or whatever they're selling. To the public, I don't know. We're bombarded in so many ways through advertising, whether it be the internet and ads, or you're on TV and you have commercials. I mean, we're even exposed to it in movies now before the movie. Before the previews, you have cell phones, car, dresses, all sorts of stuff on the screen. It's we're definitely bombarded by too many advertisements, but I don't know, good or bad, I don't know.